What's going on, fight fans? It's your host Sebastian, and I'm back with the boxing tip. There have been a lot of good fights this year to be excited about, and this one, especially this one, is no exception. We have Jermall the Hitman Charlo defending his IBF Junior Middleweight Championship against Julian J-Rock Williams. Now, if you follow boxing enough, you would understand why this is such a big fight, especially for the junior middleweight division, and it's going down December 10th. So this is going to be my breakdown and prediction video about the fight, and as always, I'm going to be talking about a few key components about each fighter that they bring into the fight. So let's go ahead and start off with Jermall the Hitman Charlo. Being that he is the champion, I will go ahead and talk about him first. So as you can see on your screen, I have about 5 things listed about Jermall Charlo that I like, things that I notice he possesses, and things that work very well for him. So the first thing I got listed is that Jermall Charlo has a great jab. It's a very sharp and thudding jab. He uses it to break the rhythm of his opponents, stop any forward momentum that his opponent has, and keeps them backing up. Because see, the thing about Jermall Charlo is that he works best if his opponent is trying to fight off of their back foot. It allows him to counter with some really big shots. And see, the jab doesn't just stop there. He keeps throwing it, because after he has his opponent backing up, he keeps throwing the jab to set up some of his own offense and not waiting for his opponent to counter. And this works well into the next bullet point that I got listed. Jermall Charlo will walk you down, and if you let him, he will keep walking you down. Because Jermall Charlo is a hunter in the boxing ring. He will stalk you until you show him any kind of weakness, whether that's fear, you make a mistake, throw the wrong punch, anything he's going to be able to exploit out of you. That's what he's looking for. And when he finally finds what he's looking for out of you, he's going to drop one of them bombs on you. And 18 people have fell victim to this hunter, all in similar fashion. And the bombs that I'm talking about are his straight right and his left hook. His straight right he's going to use to break through your guard, and he's going to keep trying to hit you with it. His left hook is going to be a reminder as to why he's the one attacking you and why you're not the one attacking him. Because if you attack him, more than likely you're going to catch one of those wicked counter left hooks. And he does this all in very simple fashion. If you notice, Jermall Charlo isn't a very flashy boxer who does, crazy off the wall things. He doesn't need to. He's tough. He's there to hurt you. He's basically a wrecking ball with boxing skill, and that's a danger to anybody he fights, really, because the man is a brick wall. He does not get backed up. And you notice how every point that I've listed just mixes so well with the type of fighter that he is. He is there to hurt you, like I said. I didn't even need to make 5 points about Jermall Charlo. I could have just put one that said badass fucker from Texas who wants to beat the shit out of you and is going to make it look good. But nevertheless, the man is not indestructible. So there is one guy out there that if I were to pick to beat Jermall Charlo, and I will reveal that later, and that guy is Julian J-Rock Williams, and we'll go ahead and get into him. See, J-Rock has this super uncanny ability to counterpunch you damn near whenever he wants, and a lot of that is set up by his defense. And I know that I have slipping shots in parentheses next to defense. It's not just slipping shots when it comes to his defense. He has a much more versatile defense than that, but the slipping shots part is what sets up his counter punching so well. He makes his opponent miss by just inches, and when they do miss, he makes them pay for it with like some crazy superhuman fast punch that comes from out of nowhere. No, I'm totally exaggerating a bit, but the guy is super fast, and I think where quickness stems from is the ability to think very quickly, especially for him being such a big dude. He moves very fast. His feet, his body, his head, his punches, everything is fast about J-Rock. And that is because the man is an intelligent fighter, and he's very athletic. To be able to make such quick movements, a lot of it, and it might sound crazy, is kind of predetermined. Anytime he makes a move, the preceding action that he makes, depending on what his opponent does, is usually already predetermined. That's the kind of thing you get into when you talk about fighters like Lomachenko or Floyd Mayweather. Not to compare them to those guys, but it's the same concept. A boxer's initial action that he makes usually comes in with a built-in reaction, and that's basically all stemmed from being able to think quickly. But let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. I just want to take this time to recognize and appreciate how much J-Rock Williams works on his craft. The technique on his punches are just amazing. They're sharp, they're crisp, and they are just thrown in perfect form, and it really reflects on the type of guy that he is, a man who does take boxing seriously and works very hard on improving himself. And to go along with the perfect form that he does throw his punches in, he is very accurate. He is looking at his target at all times, and depending on what type of position that he's in, he knows exactly what type of punch to throw. And speaking of craft and positioning, I want to go ahead and start talking about his tactics, and just two in particular: his footwork, which sets up his positioning, and his ability to break his opponent's guard. And I'll go into a little bit more detail about breaking the guard. And what's funny about the way that J-Rock Williams breaks his opponent's guards is you typically find it in like an Eastern European style. I noticed Liam Smith was using it on Canelo, and I noticed that Lomachenko actually uses it a lot on some of his opponents that like to shell up. And that's basically when his opponent goes into a high guard position, he actually slaps down one of the arms, breaking the guard and slipping in like a nice little short hook. And J-Rock is very good at knowing when to do it and how to do it. And going on about his footwork and positioning, most of you know like the typical positioning, like a orthodox versus a southpaw, trying to establish lead foot dominance. But the one thing in particular I want to talk about J-Rock Williams is actually in the middle of him throwing punches. He doesn't just stand in one spot and throws punches. He likes to kind of switch to either side of his opponent and throw punches. This actually creates a more accurate angle for punches to travel down, and J-Rock is very proficient at doing it. So that's pretty much my breakdown of the two fighters. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get into the prediction of how I see this fight playing out. But keep in mind, a prediction is just a prediction. Anything can happen in the ring. But how I see it happening is I actually predict Julian Williams is gonna outbox Jermall Charlo. He is the quicker of the two. He has all the tools to beat him. I think he's gonna use his footwork to kind of negate that walk you down style that Jermall Charlo has, just as long as he doesn't get too caught up in doing that. But if I were to predict a knockout, I could more than likely see it coming from Jermall Charlo, although I don't think it's very likely. Julian Williams has a very sharp and crisp defense. He sees a lot of stuff coming, and being that he is the quicker of the two, I feel like he's going to have a lot of opportunities to counter Jermall Charlo. I think he's going to make it a pretty frustrating night for him. Okay, that's my take on this fight, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank you guys in advance for watching. Please comment your thoughts on this fight. Let me know who you think is going to win and why. Don't forget to tell me why you think they're going to win. Also, you can subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. I will be making one about Terrence Crawford tomorrow. And once again, I will talk to you guys on the next one. This is Sebastian with The Boxing Tip. Peace out.